Hello, Top Fan Rivalry followers, and welcome to another edition of Bleeding Blue. I am Bill. That's Mikey. I am in Las Vegas right now. Mikey is not in Las Vegas. Um, Mikey, I promise you, it's just a cool 101 outside. It's not too bad.
We have a solid. We're at a nice 84.
There, there you go. That that extra 17 degrees. Nobody feels it.
No,
Nobody feels it. We're good. We're good. All right, Mikey, we got a lot to talk about. The Dodgers just completed a road trip that sucked at the beginning and was awesome at the end. So break down this road trip for me.
well, we went into Cincinnati already in a little bit of a skid and got swept right out of Cincinnati, which put us into a carried us over into a 5-game losing streak, heading into New York to play the Metropolitans, and lo and behold, that was the right medicine for the Dodgers because they turned around and swept the Mets.
Swept them.
So what started off as a catastrophic, opening series on the road, turned into a 3-3, 500 road trip, which, in the division we're in, a couple teams have gotten a little hot, but, nothing too crazy. We remain 6.5 games up to our nearest competitor. So
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And I got to tell you, so having watched the series, parts of it because of travel, having watched the series with the Reds and having watched the series with the Mets. That Mets series, the Dodgers looked flat in game one. And I don't care what anybody says. I think CT3 saved that road trip. He lays down the bunt, these basically the not a suicide squeeze, but basically a sacrifice squeeze for the most part. To get the tying run in the ninth inning, and we end up winning that game 5-2 in the 10th. What are your thoughts about that and that little ball and what CT3 contributed there?
well, it's twofold for Chris Taylor, really. It's something that the Dodgers needed and he needed. He needed a good break, and luckily he got it. I'm not going to say was the best bunt in the world, but he did what you had to do. He got it down. Um, Adam Ottavino is not the most athletic pitcher in the major leagues, and he was a step away from catching that and then turning it into a double play to throw out the runner at third. So it worked out in our favor. And then not only did Adam Ottavino not catch the ball, then he overran it. And Chris Taylor got a hit out of it. So that was the main catalyst to get us into extra innings. That and Daniel Hudson came up with some big cojones to get out of the jam he made for himself
Mm-hmm.
in the ninth inning of that game. He had the bases loaded with less than 2 outs, got a pop up. Then he had the bases loaded with a 3-0 count and came all the way back to get the out. And he did his famous to the
Yeah.
crowd. Then in the 10th, Mookie Betts, I believe, drove in a run with a single, I think, got a big RBI in the 10th. And then Freddie knocked him in with a 2-run homer. And that basically salted the game away on a Mets team that can't hit its way out of a wet paper bag right now. So,
Yeah.
or pitch for that matter either. Their bullpen is in complete shambles.
Well, part of the uh I the part of the issue that uh the Mets have right now is they either pitch really well and their offense is off, or they pitch or their offense is on and they can't pitch. So, I mean, we've been through this problem before. As a Dodger fan, we understand, as it is. Um, I like what the Dodgers are doing on the bump. I like what they're doing, just kind of a cohesive scenario, right? So I like that. The um, I yeah, so I like that. And then also too, um, we have we're hitting, and it was nice to see Freddie break out of some stuff, right? It was nice to see Freddie break out of stuff. So, good road trip. Didn't start out so awesome, but good road trip.
Big Will is the mayor of New York for us right now in that series. I mean, he just went crazy. Uh, hit three home runs, 2 in 1 game that gave him 100 in his career. He was insane in New York. Shohei, it was nice to see Shohei get his New York home run. Hopefully there'll be another one in a week and a half or two in the big ballpark, against the better New York team, the Yankees. So it was good to see him have, get that home run out of the way in New York as well. Oh, and man, how can we not talk about Blake Trinan since he's been healthy? I mean, the guy's throwing wiffle balls up there and with pace on it. I mean, his ball moves so much, it's insane. I mean, guys are swinging at things that are almost hitting their back knee.
Hmm. Yeah, no, he's pretty awesome like that. And so, yeah, I mean, he's making it happen. And again, it we had a little bit of a slide, not the end of the world. We're bouncing back. It looks good. Mikey, before we talk again, we're at home against Colorado, and then oddly enough, we go back to the East Coast to play Pittsburgh. So, what are your thoughts about those two teams? They're both under 500. They're Colorado's, you know, probably better luck next year. Pittsburgh's still fighting for seeing if they've got something. But what are your thoughts about these next 6 games?
Well, the Rockies I never look past just because they're a
Yeah.
division opponent and they always play the Dodgers well. I mean, it doesn't matter how bad they are. These are our first games against them this season, and I expect the Dodgers are gonna have to come out and play well to win. I mean, and they've been playing. The Rockies have been playing better as of late too. So they just put themselves in such a deep hole. It doesn't much matter, but um, they have been playing better baseball. So uh, I think they realize that this is their playoff series when they play teams like this, the better teams that are going to go to the playoffs, and they probably get geeked up a little more for games against teams like this, and not have as much to play for. They can play more free baseball and try different things. Yeah. So I expect if the Dodgers get 2 of 3, I'll be happy. And then in Pittsburgh, I mean, they got some athletes there, like the Reds, and we tend to have issues with athletic teams. And they have some good young pitchers. So uh, again, the Dodgers are gonna have to show up and show out.
Show up and show up. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Well,
And maybe the showstopper will hit a couple home runs.
yeah, I'm actually liking where the Dodgers are at. We're going to end the month of May here, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5, someplace in that aspect up. If we could end June right where that's at, and or maybe an extra game or two up, then we effectively go into July, August, and September with I don't know, 7.5 to 9.5 game lead in the division. And you don't want to put it away, as we've learned, we don't want to put it away too early. But at the same time, we want to have the breathing room that we need to not have stressful games.
Yeah,
Right now,
yeah.
uh,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
right now, the Seattle Mariners are playing the Houston Astros as we're recording this, and the Astros have lost all three in Seattle. If in fact they lose today, they'll effectively be 7.5 games out of first place to end the month, and that's not a good spot to want to be in. And if you talk to Astro fans, they'll tell you that might be our season. And so we're right in the spot where we want to be, where we're not having to play stressful games, but it's long from over. We still have more than 100 games to play.
Yeah. I'm all for just keep winning and have a huge lead. That aspect of it doesn't scare me because we're gonna have guys starting to come back like Clayton Kershaw and stuff, where I would like a soft landing where he can come in and not, we don't have to worry about this is a must win because he's pitching the first game he's pitched in a year and a half. But boy, we're a half game up in the West, and this is a must win. I want to see these guys have soft landings where they can just go out and get their work in and work their way into the playoffs. Be ready for the playoffs. So I hear Dustin May has started throwing. I've been a fan of this. I think I've talked to you before, and I've kind of heard rumblings that there's a different role for Dustin May possibly coming up, and that could be that of a late inning reliever. And um, I'm happy with Blake Trinan and Evan Phillips, but if you can add a Dustin May who just for one inning can throw everything he has, he's going to be a hard one to hit.
I would love to see him in a role where he could come in either the seventh and shut it down, or even pitch the sixth and the seventh and shut it down if we have a rough start.
Yeah, no, I think that's how he's always built himself up to be, a starter. So I don't think 2 or 3 innings is out of the realm of possibility. But you know, we'll see how it plays out. I mean, just imagine if we were healthy and
Oh,
you said you had Joe Kelly, Bruce Drawer Gratterall, Blake Trinan, and Evan Phillips. And you can even add Alex Vesia. He's pitched very well this year um, from the left side. And the other kid I'd like to shout out a little bit is that Banda kid, the lefty, who
yeah.
hasn't done a half bad job. I don't think he's given up a run as a Dodger yet.
No, he hasn't.
Um,
He hasn't.
so, but just imagine having, if you, I know you preach, give me 18 outs. But if you have lockdown Gratterall, Kelly, Blake Trinan, Evan Phillips, Dustin May type stuff, I mean, you really don't necessarily have to. I mean, I get it. If you're cruising, don't mess with it. Let him go out there, and they're major league pitchers who are starters. They have 110 pitches in their arm. They do. You know, if they're dealing, let them stay in. I mean, Gavin Stone, the last couple games has gone real deep, gone 7. I mean, if you give me 7, that's just an outstanding performance. I mean,
Performance.
and Glasnow and Dustin or Gavin Stone both went 7.
Right.
So, and then James Paxton, God bless him, I know he was pitching on one less day's rest, so they pitched him for 3 innings. Did his job. He did his job. Got was it 3 or 4? One of the two. I think it was 3
Three.
innings,
3.
but did not walk a batter. I mean, that guy coming into that game was 28 Ks, 28 walks. I mean, that is embarrassing.
That's very true. And yeah, I mean he's 5-0, He has gotten the last two starts have been no decisions. I'll take it. Like
Yeah.
again, remember Clayton Kershaw will come back at some point this summer. So he might be able to start a half a dozen games, eat up some innings. We'll have, I think we're scheduled to have sometime in June, I don't know, 18 or 19 starters on the active rotation.
Yeah.
I think Kiki Hernandez and Chris Taylor are going to throw some, on the bump. I think that I think, we'll see how that all plays out. The only person they haven't asked to pitch in the summertime so far is me. I haven't returned their voicemails yet. They keep calling, but I keep having to send voicemails. It's rough.
I told you who I could picture your style was in the 80s. You were, or 90s, I'm sorry. You were probably a 90s pitcher kid.
Yeah, I was.
So John Tudor, Kurt Reeder, that was you. Just that lefty slinging Jamie Moyer filth that looks like anybody should be able to hit it, but for some reason can't, kind of player.
Hey, listen, get the wins where you can get them, right?
That's
Hidden
right.
ball trick. I was the hidden ball trick guy. I was the guy that would walk over to the guy and say, dude, if next time if you strike out, if you can make me look good, because my wife's in the stands over there, if you could just take one for the team, that'd be awesome. I was that guy.
The Crisco oil, whatever else you used. I mean, I'm sure
Yeah.
you had it all. The nail files.
Yeah. I mean, I'd carry a wad of cash in my back pocket, walk over to the guy and say, I'll give you $50 if you strike out next. Cool.
Make it look good though.
Yeah, don't make me look silly. Just make it look good.
Yeah.
So, all right, Mikey, we've got a, like I said, we've got an exciting week coming up because we have a six games before you and I talk again. And of those six games, I really do think we can go 4-2, which might be able to pick us up a half game or a game on anybody that's anywhere near. San Francisco right now is lights out. I think they're 8-2 in their last 10.
But they do have the Yankees coming to town for three. I don't know who their second series is against.
Yeah.
When we're playing the Rockies, they're playing the Yankees, and I don't know who the Padres are playing.
Yep. Yep.
Probably,
Yep.
probably the White Sox.
Yep.
Knowing them, I think they play the White Sox 36 times this year.
Something like that. Makes sense. Makes sense. Well, so Top Fan Rivalry followers, those of you that are listening to this in the locker room, you see Mikey. He's wearing a great shirt. Those of you that are in watching this on YouTube, this is a shirt that Mikey helped create, that Mikey and I created with another guy named Danny. Go check it out. You can still get this wonderful T-shirt in the team store. Make sure you check it out. Make sure you're using the code. What, Mikey? We don't want them to pay full price. So what code are they using?
Bleeds blue or bleeding blue. What? Which one? Come on. I always
Bleeds
botch
blue.
it. Huh?
Bleeds blue. Bleeds
Bleeds
blue.
blue. Bleeds blue.
The
Boom.
show is called Bleeding Blue. Bleeds blue. Mikey,
All
let's do it
right.
again next week.
All right. Thanks,
All right.
Bill.
See you, buddy. Bye.
See ya.